Saudações a todos! Hoje iremos abordar recente vídeo do Dr. Michael Salla, onde recebe novas e importantes informações de seu denunciante JP. JP atualmente serve no Exército dos Estados Unidos e recentemente fez parte de uma missão secreta de 10 homens para uma civilização subterrânea na Flórida, que era liderada por um de seus habitantes, um humano loiro de mais de 2 metros de altura, chamado Jaseet. JP e sua equipe dessa vez estavam de roupas civis. Andaram para dentro de uma floresta por quase 3 quilômetros. Ao chegar nessa porta redonda no chão, ou escotilha, que era similar à entrada para a base do povo formiga, o segurança que acompanhava Jacé o deixou e saiu dizendo que já estavam em boas mãos. Entraram em um sistema de cavernas com água gotejando, túneis redondos com paredes de mármore bem lisas e água corrente pelo chão. Tinha um cheiro forte de terra úmida. Andaram por quase 5 quilômetros e chegaram a outra porta redonda, mas essa tinha escritos ancestrais astecas entalhados, similares aos que estavam na arca espacial do Oceano Atlântico. Entraram em um grande corredor com iluminação de plasma no teto, e havia plantas diferentes, com flores cheirando a baunilha picante. Um dos soldados passou mal nesse momento e desmaiou. Um médico da equipe de JP cuidou dele e disse que provavelmente estava tendo uma reação alérgica a essas plantas ou flores. Jacé não deixou ele voltar, mas providenciou uma equipe médica da sua civilização para cuidar desse soldado. 5 outros loiros vieram ajudar e 3 soldados da equipe de JP ficaram para trás e foram acomodados em uma sala. Continuaram andando e avistaram uma outra caverna gigante, e dava para ver uma cidade lá dentro. Foi então que JP testemunhou a cidade pertencente a essa civilização nórdica subterrânea, mas sua equipe foi entregue por Jaseet a extraterrestres nórdicos que possuíam um grande espaço-porto próximo a essa cidade. Vamos ver o relato de JP sobre esse encontro.
Allergic reaction. So we kept following the sea, and on the way over there, we kept seeing tall people, taller than us. We're like, oh shit, got the whole NBA here, you know? So we're like, okay, who are these people that we're seeing that are quite taller than us? So we kept going, we kept walking, and we see in the distance a bigger cave that opens up, and we see this beautiful, beautiful city. We see a type of flying saucer, bigger than the ones I usually see. And then you start seeing people our size, like 6 foot, 6'2", and they're blonde. And they're working with these tall guys, these tall people, these tall races. These people that are like similar to our size, 6'2", 6 foot, 6'5". They had blonde hair, blue eyes, and they're like, "Come over here, we're gonna show you something." So they take all our soldiers. We follow these people. The tall people, they go their way, and we start following these Nordics. I felt like they were Nordics. I felt that peace.
Just to be clear, you felt that they were Nordic extraterrestrials, not just Nordic-looking humans. These were extraterrestrials that this tall guy and the other tall people there handed you off to them, to the Nordic extraterrestrials near this underground city.
Yeah. So we started following these Nordic guys, but we kept in mind that we left 3 soldiers behind because one was sick. And I told the Nordic extraterrestrial, I told him, hey, we left 3 behind, so we can't forget about them. He says, they're okay. They're gonna take them back. Don't worry about it. Whoever needed to be here now needed to be here. Whoever did not have to be here did not have to be here. So we were like, man, that was weird. How they did that. how they knew this guy was coming down just to, like do some harm, or he's probably working for somebody else. That's what all the other soldiers were talking about, that they didn't trust that guy that got sick, that they didn't trust him. So I guess he got sick because he wasn't supposed to see what we were supposed to see. So we kept following these guys, and we saw glasses on each side. We're walking in this tube like tunnel, and it had a rounded glass on each side. And we kept walking, and when we were looking at the glass, we saw hundreds of these ships inlined. Hundreds of them. Like you can see, as far as you can see hundreds of these UFOs. They look metallic, they look round, and they had different sizes, different shapes, but they were all lined up, like just right dress. Really nice. And you can see them walking in the ships and walking out, flying out, parking back in. Like if they were going monitoring and then coming back and reporting what they're monitoring. There's ones that they got up and they just disappeared, and they reappeared and parked in the same spot.
So this is like a spaceport you saw there. This is a big Nordic spaceport adjacent to this huge city.
Beautiful. Spaceport. Yeah, we can say it was a spaceport, but we had, in the distance you can see different ships, and we were like looking, and there was different beings coming in and out also with different type of ships. And we're like, man, what place is this? Holy shit, we never heard about this place. And one of the Nordics spoke, and they said, you guys heard about this place, you guys know about this place. This is for you to report back that this place exists, and that we're monitoring everybody. We're monitoring what everybody's doing, and we're protecting certain people, and we're working with the military. And what's happening now is because we are working with those that come from above. And we're like confused by the way he was talking, but he was talking like in codes. And I understood that they're protecting the ant people. They protect a lot of different species of humans that live in the earth. And they monitor what comes in our atmosphere and what leaves our atmosphere on Earth. So they're monitoring. They're wearing that same uniform I saw a couple years ago in Orlando. There's a couple of them that was wearing different kind of uniforms.
That uniform in Orlando, that was an Air Force uniform with a patch that had some strange design with some inscription, but that designated that was an actual Nordic in an Air Force uniform that they had reached agreement. So these guys had the same kind of uniform, the same kind of patches.
The same kind of patches, the same kind of look. Some of them had their long hair still, but you could tell which ones were running the missions and coming back. So we kept walking into this tube, and we went down these escalator-looking things, and we went, and I got really close to these ships, and I was looking at them, and I felt the ship, and I felt that metallic thing in my mouth that I felt in Brazil. And I looked at one of the Nordics, and he looked at me, he smiled, and he was being followed by these other Nordics with him. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, he smiled. And then in the distance, I see it's like a screen, but it wasn't a screen. It was like a holographic screen. and it was showing where all the ships were at once, and there was hundreds of ships out and about doing different kind of missions. They mainly now are concentrated on giving messages to those indigenous, how you say that? People that haven't developed yet technology.
Indigenous people?
Yeah, indigenous people, like in the part of the Amazon, some parts of Africa, Indonesia, Australia. So they still travel and talk to these people because they say these people are pure and spiritual, and they receive what they tell them. They can't interact with the civilization that is living on Earth now, not unless they're working with the military and other unworldly power that's based out on the moon. And they have knowledge of these arcs. They protect these arcs as well. They've been monitoring this ship in the Atlantic for a long time. So these ships in the Atlantic, they do see unidentified flying objects coming out from the water, hovering, coming back down. And it's them monitoring everything that they do. So if they wanted, they could have destroyed that donut ship, but they're working with the military. So they help them get this access of these arcs. And they're helping giving this information to the military of these arcs. And they also are helping the ant people to move, and the ant people use their ships as well. They have trained the ant people to use their ships as well. They train different species of humanoids to fly their ship. What I felt as well is that they're building these ships where they brought us, and they give it to certain civilizations that are ready. So I thought that was kind of cool. And our civilization is like next in line to receive this technology. And we have received it already. And we're using it with them in the military.
So did they tell you anything about what their plans are at the moment, with these arcs and the military?
Right now, their job is to monitor us. Well, when I say us, I'm talking about the civilian sector, to monitor the nations, what's happening with all these conflicts that are happening, these earthquakes, what's happening underground on these particular places. There's still not a war, but as conflict happening on top of Earth, there's also a type of conflict that's happening in the bottom of the Earth. They didn't tell me a lot of what's happening, but they're saying that there's a misunderstanding because there's still civilizations that are like, they haven't had contact in a long time with the civilization from above. So when we do have contact with these civilizations, they act aggressively because they don't know, they haven't had this contact for hundreds of years. So it's not like a war conflict, it's like a conflict of misunderstanding. So they have to explain stuff. You guys been there for thousands of years, and we're here to help. And it's crazy, all these drip drops, soft disclosures are coming out.
So all of those hundreds of ships, those Nordic ships that you saw, I mean, they are all part of this kind of monitoring of surface humanity. I mean, there's no plan to have those kind of like reveal themselves or anything like that. Were you told anything about that?
They do show themselves to certain people. They say people that are worthy, that are pure of heart, but the military has a video of these ships, but they're still holding them back. There's still a group of people that really wants to show these videos and all that, but it's they said it's because of protection of humanity. they need to keep this secret for now. And they know that they really want the public to see the technology that they have, to share the technology. But they're keeping the technology safe because there's a temporal war going on. And it's dangerous, the temporal war that's going on. There's people jumping on different timelines, doing different things. So because of the temporal war and the technology that they have, they say it's dangerous now to reveal the ships and all that. It's dangerous. Everybody's knowing about the arcs right now. So once the arcs are fully activated, that's when the first wave is going to be all these UFOs coming out and making contact with major powers, with the civilian sector, them coming out. We're going to see them like cars. We're going to see these ships like birds, like a regular basis. You know, we're seeing them now on a regular basis, but when the arcs are fully activated, that's when you're going to see all these fleets of UFOs coming out, landing, flying up on different places. You're going to see them. People are going to be riding on them. And then that's also when the AMP people are going to come out and interact with us. But there's a lot of people that don't want that to happen. They don't want that part to happen. 2025, supposedly they're going to send people to the moon. And that's going to be revealed also what we have in the moon to the public. 2024 also is going to be a major breakthrough. But 2023, they're deciding 2023 for the UFOs to come more public and fly out more for 2023.
Okay, so more sightings of the Nordic spacecraft. That's going to help the disclosure process.
And they have videos that they're going to give permission to certain people to let go, for them to show to the public in the media and all that. They have videos already set up. They have people working with them in different regions, different sectors. And they're going to let that happen. They're going to show videos of these ships flying and monitoring military installations, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, monitoring other nations. It's going to be really exciting. It's going to be really exciting.
Como vimos, JP foi informado de que os ETs nórdicos têm ajudado essa civilização nórdica subterrânea, junto com muitas outras civilizações subterrâneas e subaquáticas ao redor do mundo, a lidar com as contingências da Terra desde muito tempo atrás. Resumindo esse encontro, JP revelou ter visto centenas de naves espaciais, que estão prontas para começar a voar nos céus da Terra, como parte de um acordo com a Aliança da Terra, para despertar a humanidade da superfície de maneira gradual, mas metódica. Os avistamentos se tornarão regulares a ponto da sociedade civil se acostumar como se fossem carros ou pássaros. Essa será a primeira onda, e em seguida a essa fase deverão vir as arcas. JP também foi informado nessa missão que na sua equipe havia um assessor de comunicação, ou um porta-voz, dos militares da Aliança, que estava presenciando tudo, tomando notas e que em breve vídeos oficiais seriam divulgados às nações e ao setor civil da sociedade. Parece 2023 será um ano das revelações dos OVNIs, de forma clara e sem dúvidas. Estaremos acompanhando. Saudações a todos. Acúria Matê.